Welcome back to the Jake's Take with Jacob Elishar podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elishar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. America's Got Talent is on pause due to the Olympic Games. However, the judges are deliberating on which acts would advance to the Dolby Theater to perform for America's votes. Among the hopefuls waiting for the news is singer Storm Large. Reality TV fans might recognize Storm from her time on the CBS music show Rockstar Supernova, where she became a finalist. Throughout her career, Storm performed at several iconic venues such as the Kennedy Center and Carnegie Hall. Storm also sang with a plethora of recording artists such as K.D. Lang, Pete Martini, Rufus Wainwright, and Rock and Roll Hall of Famer George Clinton. Earlier this season, Storm auditioned on AGT, where her powerful take on I've Got You Under My Skin received 4 yeses from the judges and has been seen over 3.1 million times on the show's official YouTube channel. I want to give a special shout out to my friends over at Fremantle and NBC for this incredible opportunity. So without further ado, let's go directly to my conversation with Storm.
It's okay.
How are you today?
I'm good. It's my birthday. Woo!
Well, happy birthday, Storm, and thank you so much for that incredible audition.
Thank you. Thanks for watching.
All right, so let's get started with our conversation. So when did you get interested in music, and how did that passion evolve into the desire to pursue a career in the recording industry?
I was a really lonely, weird kid, and I figured out really early that I was a good mimic. So I would imitate animal noises, bird noises, car noises, accents. And then that turned into singing things that I heard on the radio. If I heard an advertisement, or if I learned a song in school and I could sound like the voice that I heard, I don't know. I just sort of taught myself to sing that way. And I noticed that when I would sing, people were happy to hear it, and they were happy to see me, as opposed to just being the little punk troublemaker that I always felt like I was. I had something that made people happy, and so I just kept doing that. When I was probably 4 or 5, I started figuring that out.
Awesome. So now I cover a lot of reality TV. So many reality TV veterans would recognize you from your time on Rockstar Supernova. So how did that experience help you prepare you for auditioning for America's Got Talent?
Honestly, nothing prepared me for being on America's Got Talent. The television show Rockstar Supernova on CBS, Mark Burnett production. That happened. It happened so strangely. A fan had sent in a video of me performing, and so I never thought I would be on TV. But maybe what it did do, being on television for 3 months, which was the show, the Rockstar show. I was on TV nonstop for 3 months. It taught me, you don't know who's watching, you don't know who's listening. But there's someone always watching, someone always listening, and you should always represent the very best of yourself if possible. And under the pressure of reality television and in Rockstar, we all lived together. So it was like not Survivor. What's that?
Big Brother.
Real World. Yeah, Big Brother or Real World. So,
it's a real life, real world, and surreal life.
Yeah. And so we were being really scrutinized by fans and TV viewers and people. And I just was like, well, I was very aware of it. I was also older. I was 30. I was older than all the other kids on the show. I was 37 at the time. And I already had like a 15-year career. So my life is very dramatic, but I'm not very dramatic. But even if I was hungry, hungover, angry, frightened, stressed out, I was just like, someone is counting on me to keep it together. Someone is watching me and rooting for me, and I have to represent. So I have to be strong and be cool and kind and gracious. It was just kind of like an added layer. So it sort of is an intense business, like entertainment business school to be on TV that long. And so to be on America's Got Talent, I don't really watch television, so I had no idea the impact of this show. And so I was, first of all, so overjoyed to be around other performers, but also really thrilled to find that despite the size and scope of this show and the reach of this show, how gigantic the audience, how successful the show, absolutely everyone working on that show, from the catering people to Simon Cowell to the big stars on the show, all of them are just rooting for you, rooting for every artist, rooting for every performer. They're kind, they're supportive. Even if they didn't like an act, I was really surprised. They were very compassionate and, you know, still rooting for us. So I don't know. I was really pleasantly surprised.
I'm happy to hear that about America's Got Talent. That's why I choose America's Got Talent a lot as I cover reality TV, because unlike the Survivor, the Challenges, the Big Brothers, there's a little too much toxicity in it. But however, AGT, what I like about the most is people are rooting for you and a support of that.
Definitely. It's nice to be on a show, to be associated with a show that is so positive. And, you know, there's so many kids and young people and even older people who have always sort of dreamed of singing and performing. And I think someone like me, I just turned 52, literally just today. I've been doing this for 30 years. But people are like, who is Storm Large? Who is this 51? Why have we never heard of her? And I want those kids out there watching the show to know you can have a viable career in music and not be famous. And when I was young, I was fat, I was punk rock, I had, you know, I had a good voice, but I wasn't cool, I wasn't hooked up. I didn't have anybody in the music industry in any part of my family. It was just sort of I decided to start playing music because really, honestly, it was the thing that I did, the one thing that I did besides cooking that created joy around me. And I had a really sad, hard childhood. And so if I could do anything to create some joy around me, that was such a blessing and such a gift. And it honestly kept me alive. And out in the audience, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of kids going, God, I'd love to be on TV one day. And to them, I say, maybe you will, but start now. If you have a story to tell, you have a song to sing, you know, somewhere out there's like a queer girl in a wheelchair out somewhere in Indiana, and she's got this love song in her heart, yet unwritten. And she doesn't have the confidence to get it out because someone's telling her, well, you're not cool and you can't walk and you're gay and what are you going to do? But she might have the song in her heart that's going to save the world. You know what I mean? So I want to inspire those kids.
I think you're inspiring a lot of people with your song. And like, by the way, your transformation of I Got You Under My Skin, classic Great American Songbook classic. I really loved it. I loved your vocal arrangement. Can you describe to my audience about the arrangement process?
Well, I've worked with my business partner and piano player, James Beaton, in Portland, Oregon for 20 years. And he and I used to be in a band called The Balls. And what we did was we took classic songs from punk rock, heavy metal, the songbook, and we would not change them because kind of all of these songs are already perfect. We picked them because we love them. But he was working on this different harmonic piano approach to I've Got You Under My Skin. And so when I heard it, I was like, ooh, because it takes the song that everybody knows so well. And it's kind of the curse and the gift of the pop song. You know, like a song is a hit song and you hear it so many times, you just sort of start to take it for granted. It just passes you by. You know how it ends. You know the high points, you know the low points. So what I did was I took the lyrics and we reimagined them to be more accurate to the urgency and desperation of the lyrical content, which is, I would sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of just having you near, despite a warning voice that comes in the night and it repeats in my ear, "You're a fool." It's just like this love story might end horribly, but when you hear the traditional iteration of it, it's like, "Hey, it's okay, I just kind of like you," and na. But digging into those lyrics, it's like, no, this is desperation. This is unrequited love, bordering on unhealthy, desperate.
That performance reminds me a lot, because I'm a reality TV veteran. It reminds me, hearing you describe that reminds me of watching Haley Reinhardt's I Who Have Nothing on Idol when Gaga was there, and they actually transformed into like a stalkerish Edith Piaf tragedy. So
wow.
It reminds me.
I don't watch TV, so I'm sure it was absolutely amazing.
I will make sure that I highly recommend you go type in Haley Reinhardt, I Who Have Nothing, and you'll be blown away, Storm.
Oh, I'm sure. I love it. I love to be blown away.
All right. Speaking of being blown away, we got to get back to the fan base, because you received so many incredible love from the judges. And can you describe that, not just the judges, but also from the America's Got Talent fan base as well?
Oh, God. Well, I was really scared, honestly, because I didn't expect to be on TV again. And though I don't watch a lot of television, everybody knows who Simon Cowell is. And he doesn't have a reputation for being warm and fuzzy or fairly like easily impressed. He's a pop music phenom, and he's just seen it all, done it all. So I was like, well, Terry Crews is super nice, and it's probably going to be great that I get to do this, and we'll see what happens, and hopefully. I just assumed that Simon Cowell wasn't going to like me, because I'm kind of rock and roll and I'm older, and I was shocked. I was shocked that he was as effusive as he was. And I actually just kind of started crying, and it was just an interesting thing. I wasn't expecting it. When you're in front of people, like when I play in New York City, when I play at Carnegie Hall, when I play at Kennedy Center, those people see the best of the best of the best of the best. So whenever I show up to something like that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not worthy. Oh God. And I really just fire up myself, and I'm like, okay, Large, you could do this. You're here for a reason. And just blast to the rafters. And if they don't like it, whatever. You know what? You still put a smile on a lot of people's faces, and that's worth its weight in gold. I was not prepared for how well I was received. And honestly, a lot of times when someone's head pokes up and you get like a big blast of attention, people start pouring out the haterade. You know what I mean? But there was so little negativity online. I was shocked, which is another testimony to America's Got Talent. It creates a really positive, supportive fan base. There was very little sniping or negative comments online. I was really impressed and really happy. I'm really grateful.
And we are so grateful too, because I loved that audition. That was probably one of my favorite vocals from the season so far. And also, if you can perform on Carnegie Hall and at the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts and amaze that crowd, then you will do wonders on AGT.
Yeah, but it's different, because I mean, TV and pop music and like commercial stuff has never been my forte. I've always been kind of underground, kind of punk rock. That's why people are like, "Who is Storm? And, who is this?" Well, how I could tell sort of. I didn't, when I was on stage, I couldn't see the judges' faces so much because of the lights. But when I watched the show, looking at Simon's face, I could see him just kind of being like, "What? where did you come from?" And I've been everywhere, but I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be good. And so every stage, be it a tiny little like punk rock club somewhere in Seattle, or America's Got Talent stage, or the Kennedy Center, or the Hollywood Bowl, my heart thrums with gratitude that I get to do this at all. And I will always show up and just try to live in the understanding that I deserve this, and I have to still show up better than I showed up last time. Stronger, happier, more like project more joy, and just be part of the light. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Now, I have a hypothetical I want to throw on you. Now, if you make it to finale night and Terry announces that you won season 16 of America's Got Talent, how would winning America's Got Talent change your life?
Honestly, I don't know. I think I'd cry a lot. I'd cry and cry and cry. So maybe it would change the way people feel about me when they see me ugly cry. But I don't know how it would change my life. I think, every morning you wake up, your life's a little bit different. I mean, yes, this is a lot more dramatic, but I don't know. What do you think?
Believe me, I have seen this show has changed so many people's lives. And I have talked with all of them, and every single alum that I spoke with always speaks positive about their AGT experience.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're all awesome. And I mean, it's already changed my life, just even if, because we still don't even know if I'm going to progress to the live shows still. So it's sort of this weird limbo position to be in. But that audition already changed my life. I get to talk to you. I was written about in Good Housekeeping. Whoever knew, so wild. But yeah, I mean, my life has already changed. So I think change is inevitable. And when it comes, if it's a challenge, you get through that challenge, or over or under, or just pound through the challenge, and you're changed, and your life has changed. And hopefully you take those experiences and spin them to gold, even the painful ones. So there's no predicting how the ripples of this, or future appearances might change my life or affect my life or anyone else's. But I already feel so positive about my experience thus far. And if that's it, I'm still incredibly grateful and changed.
And we're so happy you're able to share this gift with us. But my final question is this.
Okay.
AGT announced that it has opened auditions for season 17. If you had the opportunity to meet with fans who are interested in auditioning for AGT, what advice would you share with them?
Whatever you do, just make sure it feels real. Don't go into any audition, AGT or otherwise, trying to sound like somebody that, we all have heroes. We all have people that we admire, the people we look up to. Your voice is unique. Your talent is unique. Even if you do the same kind of ventriloquism, or you have very similar magic to someone else, or you have a similar kind of background in music, or whatever, or approach to music, whatever you do what feels absolutely 1000% authentic to you, because you're bringing yourself to the audition. You don't have to be anyone else. You're there because of you. So we all know when we're being snowed or lied to or sold something. Don't do that to yourself. Because if you're going to get the chance to have this amazing experience, better for you to experience that, as opposed to you pretending to be someone else experiencing that.
I totally agree. And Storm, on behalf of my entire audience, I want to say thank you so much for taking time in your schedule to speak with me. We are so grateful that you have come to audition for America's Got Talent. And we are crossing all of our fingers, toes, to see if you make it to the Dolby Theater live shows.
I hope so. And please also keep rooting for my little brother, Jimmy Harrod, who's just, his heart is as incredibly beautiful as his voice. And I love him so, so much. And I know all of you do too now. So keep rooting for him as well.
We will. We will. Thank you so much. I hope this is not the last time we speak. Good luck on your journey.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on your show, Jacob.
Thank you. And that was my conversation with Storm Large. I hope that the judges select her to perform on the Dolby Theater stage. AGT returns August 10th with brand new episodes on NBC, and you can also catch them on the Peacock streaming service. If you missed an episode of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elishar podcast, head to our Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker and Deezer pages. Just type in Jake's Take with Jacob Elishar, JACOBELYACHAR. Once again, Jake's Take with Jacob Elishar, JACOBELYACHAR. Are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Visit my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube channels. They're all under Jacob Elishar, JACOBELYACHAR. The blog that started it all, jakes-take.com, is celebrating a decade this year. We hit our 10th anniversary mark. If you want to see all my America's Got Talent covers since season 7, which was 2012, head to jakes-take.com. Once again, jakes-take.com. And if you're financially able to, please consider heading over to our PayPal page. I create all the interviews, ask all the questions, and not to mention create all of the product content that you hear and read and see. If you're financially able to, I totally appreciate it. But if not, I totally understand. Just save the podcast and just subscribe and to the podcast and on social media. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.